I'm not a particularly smart man, but I know how to make myself look smart, and that's the most important thing. I mean, what's the point in actually being smart? It seems like a whole bunch of hassle when you could just fake it and have everyone else think that you're smart. Now, whether you're smart or not doesn't really matter, although the fact that you clicked on this video suggests potentially otherwise. This video is all about making yourself look smart. These are the things that you can construct in Minecraft that will make people think that you actually know what you're doing. Let's start off with some obvious ones. When it comes to building redstone contraptions, you should avoid using levers. Instead, you should use buttons. The reason for this is buttons look considerably cooler, and also if you want a button to do what a lever does, then you have to make use of a T flip-flop, and saying the word T flip-flop makes you sound smart. Now here is a very simple T flip-flop. The only issue is that it is decently expensive. Obviously the observer uses quartz and so does the comparator. So here is one that is a little bit cheaper, but it is quite considerably bigger. But if you really want to impress people, I would suggest you build something like this, because this is a button that is a T flip-flop that also shows the output of the button using a redstone lamp. I mean, look how fancy this is. Look how smart you would look if you activated everything in your base using these. This next one goes without saying, but every door that you have should be some form of piston door, and you should put the biggest piston door you can possibly fit into the space in the space. Like, say for example, you have a base that is, let's say it fills an area of 20 by 20. The redstone of your piston door should be around about 18 by 18. You know, it's good to leave, say, a little 2x2 area for a bed, crafting bench and furnace. The rest of it should all be piston door. Of course, I'm joking, just in case that wasn't clear. But piston doors definitely add a lot to your Minecraft builds. They definitely make it look like you know what you're doing. And the great thing is, the tutorials for them are really easy to follow, and there's plenty of them online. Even if you don't know your repeater from your snore latch, you should be fine. Another really obvious one here. I mean, I feel like this goes without saying, but you should just hide everything, even if it makes no logical sense to hide it away. Just the action of revealing things makes you look smarter. I mean, look at this, right? I'm hiding away a crafting bench. There is no reasonable need for me to hide away a crafting bench. It's literally the first thing that you get when you open up a Minecraft world. But for some reason, it just feels right. It feels like the right thing to do, and it looks great. And look how simple the redstone is. I mean, look, for each one of these modules, it is literally a block, a redstone torch, a piece of redstone dust, and 2 sticky pistons. It is easy. I promise you this is one of the last obvious ones, but it is very obvious. I mean, come on now, this doesn't even have to be in the list. You know, when you've got yourself a storage system and you're going to be storing large quantities of items, like I am, you know, redstone blocks and redstone torches, need tons of those, and don't just chuck them into chests, you know, with nothing going on. Just chests, just boring old chests. You need to have chests that have redstone lamps next to them. And those redstone lamps should switch on as the chests begin to fill up. Now, when it comes to redstone contraptions, these are honestly about as simple as it gets. I know it can look a tiny bit daunting when you see this, but look, it's just a comparator running out from the hopper, powering the redstone lamp. And then we've got a comparator running out from the hopper, powering the redstone lamp. And if that's still not good enough, there's a million tutorials online, so if you don't know your torch from your Zord, then you'll still be able to make yourself look like a brainy individual. This next one is one that I actually need to do more often. I absolutely love it when I go into someone's base and there are sound effects for everything. Look at that. Look, me putting those items into that chest, that was dull, that was boring, that wasn't exciting in the slightest. Whereas when I put the diamonds in here, we get a little reward for putting them in. And then the machine tells us when the diamonds have dropped out. It's one of those tiny little details that takes 5 minutes to install into your redstone builds, but it makes them like 30% better. If you make me climb up a ladder, then I'm going to judge you. At the very minimum, I expect to have a soul sand water elevator, but obviously the smartest way to go here is some form of piston elevator. And people have a weird idea about these slime block flying machine piston elevators, thinking they're really complicated. I mean, look at this. This is literally all the redstone for it. It's right here. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not a day one redstone contraption. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing to construct in the world, but once you get the hang of slime block flying machines, honestly, it opens up so many doors, and it takes you to new heights, as you could say. There was some slime block related puns in there. I would say I'm here all week, but my house is still being renovated, so I probably won't be. Now this one's a really good one. All you need to do, oh. Well, okay, I guess I'll type it myself. All you need to do is put something like this in the chat. Now obviously this is slightly less effective in single player, but on a Minecraft server, you know, that's going to get the other players thinking, what on earth has he built? And for good measure, if you really want to lean into it, you can also place down a little button and give it a press. That's not required, but if it makes you feel better, then you can. This next one does require a small amount of redstone understanding, but it makes it look like you have a huge amount of redstone understanding, and just by adding a handful of repeaters. I would suggest doing things in sequence. You know, this would look a lot more dull if all of those opened at once. All of them opening and closing at the same time, that's really boring. But if you add little animations and sequences to things, it just makes you look smarter. It looks like you've really considered it. You know what you're doing. You're a wizard of the redstone sticks, a commander of the comparators, a sensei of the daylight sensors. Moving swiftly on, remember what we said at the start about the buttons? Well, firstly, I just want you to ignore the fact that I've used levers for pretty much all of the redstone contraptions that I've used for this video so far. And I want to introduce you to this guy. You know, he's been around for quite some time. The magic button has existed essentially since pistons have existed. This is absolutely nothing new, but it still looks like it has come from the future. This is a button that functions, that is floating above the ground. If anyone thinks you're not smart having seen your magic button, then I don't know what to tell you. This next one is simple but effective. If you're out there building redstone on dirt or stone or any other random blocks that you have lying around in your inventory, and stop it now. Redstone looks at least 20% cooler and also 30% more complicated, whilst also actually being easier to understand if you build it on coloured blocks like wool or concrete. You see, if you assign a colour to a redstone line, then it's very easy to track. I can see that this goes to here, and this goes up to here. So not only is it smarter, but it also makes you look smarter. I mean, how good is that? Another one for those of you playing on Minecraft servers. If you ask me to come over to your base, and I go into your nether tunnel, and you don't have an automatic Minecraft dispenser, then I'm going to think of you as a Neanderthal. They're not that difficult to construct. And look at this. I don't have to press any buttons. Everything is done automatically, and bonus points if the minecart also automatically gets destroyed and put into the system. And yes, I did just refer to this thing as a Minecraft dispenser. I'm aware of it. I thought I'd breeze past it, but it's very noticeable. Just remember, I am also a Neanderthal. But no one is going to think you're a Neanderthal if you have one of these. Forget buttons, forget magic buttons. This is the best way to activate redstone contraptions. I mean, look at this. You got a redstone lamp with a string next to it. That is it. And the redstone lamp is powered. And then when you walk through the string, the redstone lamp turns off and then turns back on again. You know, anyone who doesn't understand redstone is just going to be completely blown to pieces by this thing. You know, if you've got your friends around, they're checking out your Minecraft base and you whip out this bad boy, you're going to have to tell them to watch their toes because their jaws are going to hit the floor and you wouldn't want them to damage their toes on their jaw because that would be an all-round painful experience. You want to keep the damage located in one area and one end. You know, you don't want the jaw hurting and the toes hurting, just the jaw will be fine. That's so long-winded. This thing's cool though, isn't it? It's really, really cool. Incredibly long jokes aside, this one is sure to impress. If you're transporting items in Minecraft, then 100% you should have them on show. You shouldn't hide them away behind walls or anything like that. You want people who are visiting your base to see that items are moving around. And obviously massive bonus points if you have a wall of honey for getting the items downwards. There's something about the way that they travel across it and then slowly travel down. It's incredibly satisfying. Arguably the most important tip of the video, just chuck a mustache on your skin. You know, I'm a complete idiot, and people seem to think that, or at least some people seem to think I'm smart. Plenty of people think I'm an idiot as well, and the people who think I'm smart probably only think I'm smart because I have a mustache. It's a sad reality, but it's the truth. This build is honestly just really cool, and I just want an excuse to show it off, but it will also make you look smart. You see, hiding crafting benches and things, that's pretty good, but when you start hiding entire staircases, especially in this way, you know, where it's almost like the staircase is decoration, and then there's just something about this. It's so beautifully elegant. Ever since I saw the first version of this, I was in love. It's starting to sound like a weird love story. But the beauty of this hidden staircase being set up in this way is because there's no block swappers or anything going on. It's not really that complicated. We've got a couple of double piston extenders and then a single piston extender, and then moving these guys out of the way and we're done. This is a good time to mention there is a world download down in the description. Nothing makes me think you're stupid more than a piston door that doesn't stay open for long enough. Okay, it's a simple fact. If I hit a button or walk over a pressure plate to go through your door, and then I have to literally rush through it before it closes on me, I'm going to think you're stupid. Pulse extenders. Pulse extenders are your friend. Look at this. Look, I can take all day. Oh. Oh no. Fine, that wasn't the best demonstration, but you get the point. Alright, please. Pulse extenders on your doors. Thank you. Getting your hands on the Redstone Dictionary. One of the easiest ways to seem smart is to sound smart, so you should brush up on your redstone vocabulary. For example, pulse shortener is now a monostable circuit. A button is now a pulse creating redstone activation device. A V-neck t-shirt is now a chest display unit. You should know this stuff, alright? Put it into practice. But on the topic of chest display units, this is a very nice chest display unit, and it's a very secure chest display unit. Adding security into your Minecraft builds just makes you seem considerably brainier, especially if you reference how many combinations there are. And especially if you pretend that you don't know how many combinations there are, so when somebody asks you how many combinations are there, you go, well, it's 8 times 8, 64. 64 possible combinations here. Now, obviously, in this little example, that isn't really that impressive. But if you have a combination lock that has many quadrillions of possible combinations, they're going to think that you're some kind of maths wizard. Middle name Abacus, surname Cassio. Eating pies for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Leaving logarithms in the toilet. Was that too far? I feel like that could have been too far. Chests and shulker boxes and barrels are so 2012. What you need to have is a redstone contraption that gives you the perfect stack size, and it does it slower, and it does it louder, and much more expensively. But it is much more satisfying. So obviously that there was the redstone contraption for stacks of 16, but what if you want stacks of 64? Well, I have got you covered. Just have to wait around a little bit. Probably would have been faster to grab this out of a chest, but... oh yeah, a lot faster. But it does work, and it does feel good, and it makes you look really smart. But what makes you look the smartest? Well, apparently the answer is hidden behind this button. Actually being smart. Reality is often disappointing. And that is the end of today's Minecraft video. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, download is down in the description. This has been a lot of fun to record. It feels good to be back recording again after a wee little break. I feel full of energy, full of beans, full of... I'm not full of anything else really, but I'm feeling happy anyway, and I'm feeling like this was fun. God, I don't know what I'm doing.